In today's video, I want to share with you a brand new tool. Well, at least it's brand new to me. It's actually been around for a few years now, becoming more and more popular uh, because Google Analytics, I, I I mean, it seems crazy, but it's illegal now. It's actually a violation of international law to have Google Analytics on your website if somebody from the EU, from the European Union, or from the UK, really, that's not as proven right now, but or from the UK comes onto your site and you track them via Google Analytics, even if you disclose that, it's actually illegal. And I work with a lot of privacy focused and censorship concerned clients anyway. So we need a better, especially as a marketer, we need a better privacy focused solution for tracking analytics on our websites. I have found such a solution and I want to briefly share that with you in today's tutorial. All right. Now, today's video is going to be brought to you by Fathom Analytics, and you can go ahead and get $10 off your first invoice. And this is an affiliate link, so I will get a recurring commission from this if you decide to do this. It's a way to help the channel at funneltalk.co/fathom. If you'll go check that out, these guys, I think, are doing fantastic work. I actually found out later, after I first checked these guys out, that one of the owners is Paul Jarvis, who has been around the online business community for quite a long time. I didn't even know that they had this available, but they do. And I mean, I'm just telling you, as an audience of people who do web design, who do marketing, who are into these things, like you got to be thinking about this now. Okay, and it's crazy to think that you could be in violation of international law just for using Google Analytics, but I'm not lying, it's 100% true, and the reality is there is, questionable practices and things that are going on by some of these analytics providers, and Google Analytics is kinda clunky and I don't know, it's a little bloated, if you ask me now. It's great, it gives you helpful data, I actually really like using it, but I think once you start to use a tool like Fathom, you might just fall in love with it. So I'm gonna show it to you here, and we'll check it out a little bit and see what you guys think of the tool. So this is Fathom Analytics, and again, things are pretty new here, so, we don't have huge numbers and we're just really starting to see um, some interesting data, come in and really how to use this, but I just wanna give you a walkthrough of the tool. Now, well, the first thing you're gonna notice that is a huge departure from something like Google Analytics is that Google Analytics is what seems like thousands of pages in order to get the data that you want to get. Fathom Analytics, this dashboard, is one page. Yes, my friends, everything happens right here. You are seeing everything that the tool offers in terms of the front end on the dashboard of a website. Okay. Right here is where you would, if you were to click that, I don't want to show you some of the other sites that I have in here just because they are client sites and for their concern of their privacy, I don't want to show them to you. But if I were to click there, there would be a drop down list where you would actually see the different sites that I manage. Now, there's, of course, a front end and there is a back end. Of course, if I go back there, um, that's where most of your settings live. You can actually do some really cool stuff like setting the actual dashboard to private versus public. So if you've ever wanted to simply share your analytics dashboard without having to go through the rigmarole of assigning user permissions and all of that, you can make it private and set a password but still share it. Or you could just make it public so that anybody has the link could just come view the dashboard without even needing to log in. Super cool, super intuitive. I love the way the tool is designed as well. It's just a really nice design, super simple, and it kind of reminds me of Apple. When you move from a Windows product to an Apple product, part of the learning curve is the fact that things on Apple products, I don't know if you've noticed this, but things on Apple products tend to be more intuitive in the sense that when you touch a particular place, what you might expect to happen happens. Whereas on Windows, if you maybe do that, you don't get that experience. And so what you have to do then is go digging for where that actual setting might be. I don't know if I'm making any sense to you, but for example, when you want to see more of something in Fathom, well, you click on it. Okay. So for example, right here, this dot corresponds to the dot down here of the same color. And when you move down here and you start looking at it, you get that data. Now, if I want to remove that data from the graph, we just simply click on the visitors, and now visitors are gone. So the dot is gone there, so it's not represented on the line. And so now we're cleaning up our dashboard. So I could actually just go remove views, average time on site, and bounce rate, and my graph would go away entirely. And now I'm just looking at the hardcore data. Okay. This is the raw data. I'm seeing what people are using. Okay. Where the referral sources are. I mean, just super intuitive. And again, if I do want to be able to chart that out, and just look at one thing at a time, for example, I could go right there and just click on that one thing and look over time at how that has gone. Of course, I could come right here. I think the date picker is just beautiful here. It's super intuitive. It works exactly as you might expect. And adjusts the measurements accordingly. And of course, as you're looking at longer periods of time where that data is being aggregated, you can get a better picture using the graphs. The graphs don't really make that much sense to me, but this isn't a problem with Fathom. This is a problem with graphs in general over a short period of time. But when you're analyzing data over a long period of time, graphs are really helpful because it's really easy to see those patterns. Now, what's cool about this too is when you are looking at events, I'm not tracking any events right now on the site. I did start to set one up, but it's not being activated on right now. And so, whenever we do have that and we're tracking that, we can actually track event completions right here too. And what's cool, I mean, right there is your real time people on site. You get to kind of see all of the information that's important to you very, very quickly. Now, is there more information that's important? Of course. But at a glance, this is kind of what you want to see. And right there, you have it. Now, as we scroll down again, we can see the content. And like I said, things are kind of intuitive. So when you want to see more of a thing, right, you're kind of just going to click that and it will give you that intuitive sense of use. So let's say that I wanted to actually filter down all of this data we were looking at just based on one particular post. Well, I could come right here and just click on this post that is getting more views than a lot of my other ones. And then now I see, oh, we have a filter applied. And in terms of that filter, we have more data. And you see here that the filter has been adjusted right here. Now, I think what you can actually do is add more filters as well. Although I don't think as of right now, you can come right here and use Boolean logic or anything to add to them. What you would do is just keep clicking to narrow down. So I could say, oh, well, I want to see about desktop. Okay. And so it adds additional filters here because you are clicking further. Well, now I want to see maybe just those from the United States, right? And so now, again, I'm looking at data and I'm narrowing down data just by clicking on what I want to see. And when I'm done, I can simply come right here, clear those filters, and everything is back to normal. Again, if I wanted to come right here and sort by entries or viewers, everything you hover over has a nice little tooltip. And so it shows you exactly what they mean by that term, which is helpful because, right? Different software, different providers use different terms different ways. So it's very helpful to have those little definitions. And you can click right here, sort ascending or descending, and get exactly the data that you need to get. Okay. So right here we have our referrals. And right here we have our, I'm not sure what this means, what the difference is here, referrers versus refs. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by this. And, but that's my fault. And there's no tooltip on this one. So that's kind of interesting. There are tooltips on all the others. So maybe if this was like an actual little referral link in there, that's where that would show. Visitors, of course, just sort of showing where visitors come from, and views are pretty intuitive there as well. So you've got content and you've got referrers. Now over here, okay. So let's look at this. So we can actually come right here and search. Okay. So I've got this post called 3 Ways to Honor God with Your Small Business. So maybe I wanted to, maybe I have a very, very long list of pages here. And I mean, I do have, quite a few. Got these different blog posts out there that are being landed on at different periods of time. So let's say I want to search for, again, this one about honoring God, but maybe it was further down in the list and I just wanted to check it out. So I could click on the um, magnifying glass, search for honor, hit enter. And what it's going to do, it's going to add this little purple line around what's a border, really, right? It's going to add a little purple border around this section to show that the search has been activated and that it is now narrowing down to that. And again, once I found my result, I could just click right here and now everything, the search is still active, but the filtering is going on as well. So you see how as you click on things, right, stuff just sort of happens and the layout adjusts. So rather than, I'm trying to think of a great analogy, but with Google Analytics, it sort of feels like everything is spread out. You can add some dynamic layers, but you have to do a lot of searching. If you're not familiar with the terms, I guess it's just a huge learning curve. Whereas with Fathom, it does seem super simple to dive in. By the way, I haven't even mentioned this yet. At the time of this video recording, for unlimited websites on Fathom, it is only $14 per month. And again, if you use my link, you're going to get $10 off of that first invoice. You get a 7-day free trial, $10 off your first invoice. So your first month is only $4. And by your second month, you're using it, unlimited websites. And for most people, I would say that even that $14 plan is going to be plenty to cover the amount of traffic that they have. They do have higher plans that basically the only difference between them is the amount of traffic. I'm guessing because of server load and things, they're going to need to charge more for that. But that's it. I mean, super simple across the board to replace Google Analytics for $14 a month. I mean, come on, it's a no brainer. You should definitely do this. Okay. So that is walking through those sections. Now, as we go down here, of course, we get more info about device types, visitors, browsers, countries, etc. These are all pretty self-explanatory and the same sort of things apply. Again, we just click into these and it will help us filter based on that data. Now, these two guys down here are very, very interesting. Okay. So what we have is events and we have UTMs. Okay. Now, with events, this is actually where we can come right here and say we wanted to trigger some code. Well, let's talk about the what you might want to do. So let's say that you want to track when somebody downloads a form, somebody opens up a particular page, somebody clicks a particular button. You could actually use this to do that. And it uses a little JavaScript snippet, and they have all kinds of documentation on this. It's not hard to implement. You just give it a name, test, click enter, and then it gives you your JavaScript code, your event code, and then read the events guide, and you can actually go in and implement this on your site. And then it's just so nice. Let's see. So it's going to make me type this to delete it. And now we can do that. And so when you have this event, you can say, okay, well, how many unique completions do I have? What's the conversion rate? What is the value? Okay, if you've assigned a value to that. And so it's a super simple, nice dashboard you get right here to see how the business is doing as it relates to your website. So very, very intuitive, very, very simple. And then the last thing we'll cover here today from the marketing perspective is the UTMs. Okay. So the UTM is basically a unique campaign URL that you can build. And they actually do have a UTM builder. If you go into the back end of the website, you can find that there. And what you can do is track specific campaigns. So for example, let's say that you wanted to create a unique link that you gave Facebook for a particular Facebook ad initiative. So rather than the generic link, you create the UTM campaign link so that you can track those things right here and get immediate data on how particular campaigns from particular sources are converting and the sort of traffic that you're getting from them. It's really fantastic and a great way to use these tools. Now, again, even the concept of a UTM, I forget the exact name, what that stands for, but it was developed by Google, right? First used with Google Analytics, and it's become an industry standard now. So kind of ironic in that sense, especially since we're talking about using this to replace Google Analytics. But I do think it's a great tool and something that you are going to find very, very useful. Once again, I would just encourage you to go to that link, get Fathom by going to funneltalk.co/Fathom and check it out. Again, 7-day free trial. You can start adding your sites. It was a great onboarding experience. The emails that they send are, well, you can tell they've done their homework, right? You can tell that they're talking to privacy focused individuals. And if you are one of those privacy focused individuals, by the way, if you're not, you kind of should be in this day and age, then I think you're really going to enjoy it. And they're just very, very respectful. Frankly, even as a marketer, it's very refreshing to see the way that these guys have put their program together and made a product that is very, very usable, very useful, and have done it in a classy way. I should mention as well before we go that this tool is 100% GDPR compliant. In fact, as far as I'm aware, they are the only online tool that is fully obeying these laws and these rules for analytics because they actually have the company providing a lot of this data based in the EU, or the servers are actually in the EU in Germany. And so they're actually obeying all the rules so that sites that are running Fathom Analytics to track user behavior are playing by the best international and most up-to-date international laws that there are. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful for you. And go to funneltalk.co/Fathom to go ahead and start your free trial today and get $10 off your first month. You guys take care, and we'll keep updating you as more becomes available on this excellent new piece of software.